People try to avoid rusty nails. But there are certain circumstances where you would want a nail to be rusty. Rusty nails can add a rustic feel to an arts and crafts project. If you want to create rusty nails, you can use hydrogen peroxide, vinegar, and salt, or you can use rust finishing. So, we are going to watch about the how to rust a nail. Method 1. A hydrogen peroxide and vinegar solution is being used.
First is sand off the rust-proof coating.
Use a wire brush or sandpaper and rub over the surface of the nail. Continue to rub the sandpaper or brush over the nail until you scrape away the shiny finish. Don't worry about getting scratches on the nail, since the rust will cover it anyway. Use a 36 to 100 grit sandpaper. Step 2. Place your nail in a plastic or glass container. If you're rusting more than one nail, choose a container large enough to hold all of the nails that you want to rust. Don't use a metal container to rust your nails, or you may end up rusting the container. Step 3. Pour equal parts of vinegar and hydrogen peroxide into the container. Slowly pour equal parts of vinegar and hydrogen peroxide to form the solution. Mixing these two ingredients together creates a small amount of peracetic acid which will oxidize the metal in the nail and create rust. The solution should start to fizz and turn red over the next 5 minutes. Wear a pair of rubber gloves when working with the solution.
Step 4. Add salt to the mixture.
Salt will quicken the rusting process by lowering the electrical resistance in the solution. Measure a 1/4 cup, 75 grams of salt and pour it into the plastic container. Mix the solution together to agitate the salt against the nail. You should start to see the rust color come out more once you put the salt in the solution.
Step 5. Let the nail sit in the solution overnight.
The chemicals in the solution will create rust over the entire surface of the nail. Monitor the nail and take it out of the solution when it reaches the rust level that you want. You only need to leave the nail in the solution for a couple of minutes to form a light rust. If you want a very rusty nail, leave it in the solution overnight or longer. You can leave the nail in the solution for as long as you want.
Finally, let the nail air dry.
Wear gloves to remove the nail from the solution. Don't wipe down the nail or you may remove some of the rust finish. Leave the nail out on top of a paper towel for an hour or two. When you return, the nail should be rusty.
Method 2. A faux rust finish is being created.
First is purchase oxidizing iron paint and a faux rust paint. You can buy oxidizing iron paint and decorative rust finishes online or at a hardware store. Compare the different brands and make sure to look for a paint that was made to be used on metal or steel. The oxidizing paint will speed up the oxidation process and make your nail look old. There is also faux rust kits that include iron paint, rust finish, and any sponges or brushes you may need. Mix both of the paints separately with a mixing stick before applying them to your nail.
Step 2. Dab the iron paint over the nail.
Use a sponge or a brush to apply the iron paint over the surface of the nail. The oxidized iron paint will make the rest of the nail look tarnished and blends in well with the rust paint. Wear gloves when working with the paint.
Step 3. Let the iron paint dry for 45 minutes.
Don't let the iron paint dry completely. You'll want to move on to the next step when the iron paint is somewhat dry but still sticky. Check on the paint by touching it with your hand. Step 4. Spray or brush the rust paint onto the nail. Apply the rust paint onto the nail. Only apply the rust paint to the portion of the nail that you want to rust. You won't see the rust color until the paint has partially dried.
Finally, let the rust paint dry overnight.
The rust paint should start to develop the reddish rust color after about an hour of drying. Let the nail dry out overnight before handling it.
We hope it is useful to you. Please subscribe to our channel to upskill yourself.